Hello, everyone. How are you? You guys want to hear my Nancy Grace impression? I love Nancy Grace's show, by the way. If you guys don't know who Nancy Grace is, go ahead and Google her or YouTube her. Her channel is good. She is I think she's a retired prosecutor. Um, and she has a show, podcast, and everything. She talks about like missing children and the missing people. And she also talks about, some celebrity stuff. Like she's been talking about the Diddy situation. Anyways, I like her because she goes hard in the paint for children. She's like a mother that she goes hard for her children. I gotta respect it. She doesn't play about her children. But I love her content. So anytime you go to her video on YouTube, let me sip some water real quick to make sure my. But you know how sometimes people say imitation is flattery or something? And then some people say imitation could be like an insult or something. Well, my little impression I'm about to do for Nancy Grace is not a insult or disrespect. I admire her show, and I don't know everything about Nancy, like her full history, but I do like her show, her crime show. But she does kind of, I know she overtalks the guests, and she does not hide her feelings and her words. She says what she feels. Um, so she's not for everybody. She's not. She's gonna tell it like it is. So anytime you click on Nancy Grace's show, she goes, "Breaking news tonight: a missing child did not arrive at the bus," or whatever, whatever she's saying. But my favorite part, like I said, she goes, "Breaking news tonight," and then she goes, "Thank you for being with us tonight." Anyway. So I did want to talk about, in Nancy Grace, speaking of Nancy Grace, she also talked about Jennifer Soto. Nancy Grace did not hide her feelings for Jennifer Soto. She doesn't care if Jennifer Soto was medicated or had mental illness. Like, you're a mother first, number one. Your motherly instinct has to kick in and override anything else. And if it can't, you need to ask for help. You can't just, curl up in a ball and ignore the world and ignore everything. You have to snap out of it at some point. When you're child free, it's easy to just care about yourself and be selfish. When you have a child, like, you cannot be selfish. You can't. As hard as it is sometimes, when you have a child, you can't be selfish. Your child has to be number one. And some people might agree, I don't know why, but children are so vulnerable, and that's why they have to be number one. It's not because, like, oh, you want to spoil the child, and oh, you think they're everything, or you're going to make them, I don't know, think too big of themselves. Like I said, because children are a vulnerable population, that is why parents should put their child first. And if more parents did, less children would be abused and in harm's way. And I'm always going to say there's no perfect parent, okay? But a parent's number one job is to protect their child and provide for their child. And if you're not doing that, you need to outsource for better assistance, because it's just not fair. But anyway, so you guys know I'm always coming up with another idea or thought about Jennifer Soto. If you're not sure about it, Madeline Soto was savagely murdered by, it appears to be her mother's ex-boyfriend that did it. He had been sexually abusing Madeline for many years, and Jennifer Soto, her mother, claimed to not have known about it. She appeared to be oblivious, even when her child went missing. And when the detective showed her the images of Stephan Stearns abusing her daughter, she basically was like, oh, he may have sexually abused her, but he's not a murderer. We got to get him an attorney. Did you all hear me? After a mother saw a video or pictures of her daughter being abused by her boyfriend / ex-boyfriend, the mother said, I think it's time for you to get an attorney. They're onto the wrong people. This woman was protecting a man over her daughter. I had to repeat it. A mother saw her daughter being abused, evidence of it, and she still was in disbelief that the person would hurt her daughter in that way. Like, she was like, okay, basically, the sexual abuse was fine, but he didn't kill her. You know, that's how she was thinking. She didn't believe that Stephan would be capable of doing that. So it's almost like she knew that Stephan would be capable of sexual abuse, but not capable of murder because of the way he came off to her, the way he tricked her. But in one of the videos, I'll try to find the exact video and link it in my description, but you guys can get all the information about the Jennifer Soto case or the Madeline Soto case on Grizzly True Crime. Her name is Gazilla K, and she's my favorite YouTuber when it comes to the Madeline Soto case. Like, she gives details, she gives you the history of everything. She has almost, I think she probably has every audio, every video of the case, and she has it in long form, short form. So if you want to catch up with that case, go to her channel. But yeah, in one of the videos, or one of the videos, Jennifer Soto, when the detective asked her, "Hey, did he ever tell you that he dated any younger people, or has he ever been with someone? Has he ever expressed interest in a younger person?" And Jennifer was basically saying that he had told her that when he was in high school, he was like a late graduate. Like, he didn't graduate until he was like 19 or 20, something like that. Don't quote me. But basically, that Jennifer Soto said Stephan Stearns told her that he was dating a 15-year-old high school student when he was about 19 or 20 years old. He was older. He was at least 18 plus. So that's evident right there that you knew that Stephan Stearns liked young girls. If I'm dating a guy, or if I'm getting to know a man and he told me that he dated a girl that was not 18 plus, you know, underage, that's a huge red flag, and I would get away from that man. He's telling you he likes them young, okay? And I know some people like to, like, oh, well, 15 and he was in high school and it's not that big of a deal. Well, my grandpa, my grandma, I can't stand when you tell people, like, this is facts right here. This is the law. Was not okay, and they're still like, well, it wasn't that bad, or maybe she was asking for it, and all kind of stuff. Don't get me started. Don't get me started for the child predator apologizers and supporters. Don't get me started on them. But yeah, so Jennifer knew that Stephan liked young girls. So when the detectives were asking her, did you know anything? Did you suspect anything? She said she didn't think Stephan Stearns, her boyfriend, would abuse her daughter, even though she gave him unlimited access to her, even though that most of the time she was sleeping or drugged, high, in another room. She wasn't present, but she still was confident that Stephan wouldn't do anything to her daughter, even though she admitted that, you know, she was worried that Stephan Stearns would do her daughter how Woody Allen did his stepdaughter. You know, Woody Allen is an older man. He married his stepdaughter, I guess when she turned 18, but basically you could tell he groomed her since she was a child. Why would a man in his right mind be attracted to or being sexually engaged with your stepdaughter? You know, anyway, so she said that. So that was that was Jennifer admitting a clue that she knew something was going on, because she had her suspicions, or she was worried. Why would you be so worried about that? He was giving you a feeling. The vibe was off. The vibe was telling you that this is inappropriate. Yeah, so that was the only thing she was worried about, is that he would run off with her daughter like Woody Allen did. She didn't say, I'm worried about I was worried about my daughter being abused by Stephan. She was basically making her daughter seem older by saying that they would run off. Like, you mean he would kidnap her or abduct her? How are you going to say a child is going to run off? But I think she was saying that once she turns 18. But basically, like I said, the Woody Allen situation. But why would you think like that of your daughter? Why would you think so low of your daughter to think that she would want your man? It's your daughter, not a man. It's your daughter. Like, she was just really adulting Madeline. It's like she would treat Madeline like a baby in some ways, like, oh, she can't do anything by herself. But then she would have her just out here, open to a sexual predator. So from the time Stephan told Jennifer Soto that he used to date a teenager when he was an older teenager or in his early 20s, she should have ran for the hills. What mother in her right mind would want to get with a man who likes young girls when you have a young child? Even if you don't have children, like, that's real suspect. Men who like them young, you need to side eye them. Men who like to say stuff like age ain't nothing but a number, run. Age is age matters. Age matters. When you study the brain and you study child development, you understand that children are not mature enough to handle adult situations. But adults, some sick adults like to turn children grown by doing things that they shouldn't be doing with children. Just selfish and disgusting human beings. On a child when they do stuff like that. So when the mother sees clues that there's a potential predator in her premises, Jennifer Soto at that point had the duty to retreat from Stephan. When he told her that he dated somebody younger, that should have been a clue to you. Because any man in his right mind is going to want to wait until somebody is 18 at least before they do anything with her. I don't like for guys to wait on girls to turn 18 anyway. I think that's really suspect. You shouldn't be doing that. But a woman should be 18 before a man 18 and over is doing things with the person. And all the situations vary, because if a man has been grooming that person, then yeah, obviously they're a predator. But I just don't get why some older men think it's cool to get with somebody who is so young, so much younger than them. But in this situation, like I said, Jennifer Soto, as the mother, had the duty to protect her daughter. She had already said that her own mother taught her when she was growing up that you shouldn't trust a man. That you shouldn't trust a man. Yet she's trusted Stephan Stearns. Like, all of her statements just contradict themselves. It doesn't make sense, and that's why so many people are upset with her. If you're in the live, please give me a like if you can. I'm talking about Jennifer Soto. She was the mother of, or is the mother of, now deceased Madeline Soto, who died in February by the hands of, it seemingly to be, allegedly, Stephan Stearns. There's evidence and proof that Stephan Stearns was sexually abusing her, but they haven't fully proven that he took her life, but all the clues are pointing to him. So we're just waiting for the trial. I think maybe October, or I don't know when. And I know that these things can take years sometimes, and I hope that his trial will be swift. And I hope Madeline Soto will get the justice that she deserves. Madeline had been crying out for help for years. And it's so unfortunate the way life works that sometimes for things to stop, something big has to happen, and sometimes that big thing is a tragedy. So I really hope that Madeline is not dying in vain. I hope that laws will change, things will change. I hope mothers, married or single, will wisen up to predators in your home, in your bed, girl. Get it together, girl. Like I always say, parenthood is not easy, but you got to protect your children. If you don't do nothing, protect your children. Please do. That's your number one job. You need to love them and all that good stuff too. What I'm saying is, please protect them. Because that's, like, to me, like the ultimate form of love. Protection is everything. Protection is love. When someone protects something, that means they care about it. So you got to show your children you care by protecting them, not mismanaging them. Do right by them. Do the least amount of harm. You don't want them coming to you one day and just telling you these horror stories about what happened, and then you can't take the truth. So you're like, well, I didn't know this was happening, or are you still thinking about that? Just gaslighting, no compassion, not listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do right by our children. Jennifer Soto did not do right by her daughter. Let's take her horrible story, her horrible life experience, for us to learn something. She failed in a big way as a parent, and she failed her daughter. and her daughter is no longer here. So I really hope that like laws change. Like I said earlier, like Florida, this I know that probably some schools in Florida are different, but the school that Madeline Soto was going to, they don't notify. They didn't. I don't know if things have changed yet, but at the time when Madeline Soto died, the school did not notify parents if a child was absent, and that's crazy to me. You know, for my child at the school automatically tells you when the child is not in first period, where they miss, they're late in the first class. Like the school notifies you. The school notifies you of absences and tardies. It's very important, parents, to have your child in a school that you are notified the minute your child is late or absent. You don't want them to wait the entire day like Jennifer Soto's school. You don't want the school to wait the whole day for them to notify you that your child was absent or tardy or whatever. You need to know right away because things can happen. You know, who knows the outcome of this story if the school notified Jennifer Soto right away. Even if I do think Jennifer Soto should be to blame for what happened to her daughter, if she would have been notified, who knows if things could have been a bit different. I don't know, but it looks like, you know, it appears that Madeline was deceased anyway in the very morning. But what I'm saying is maybe they could have got more evidence on Stephan before he deleted his phone. But I think they got all the information they needed to. But basically, the delay in Jennifer Soto not knowing about her daughter delayed time and allowed Stephan Stearns to, you know, hide her body and hide evidence and try to hide evidence and stuff like that. Even though everything came back on him, because if you see all the videos, he's clearly lying. He tells a little truth, but most of it, the stuff he says is lies. Not one time did he admit that he was wrong, and it's like obviously he's a psychopath. It's like he can even be like, you know what, I want to speak to an attorney right away. He tried to come off like he was just like caring stepfather, even though they were never married. You know, Jennifer Soto didn't marry Stephan Stearns, so that wasn't even her husband. But he tried to act like he was the stepdad because Jennifer Soto gave him that role. Like, you're the stepdad, you're basically the dad, because Madeline Soto's dad was living in Florida. I mean, not Florida, in Texas. Madeline lived in Florida, her dad lived in Texas. And so Madeline didn't have Madeline did not have an appropriate relationship with the father. Her father was just gone, you know, that's an absent father right there. And then Stephan Stearns is there in the home pretending to be the dad, but he's sexually abusing her under Jennifer Soto's nose. A lot of these abuses happened when Jennifer Soto was home. But like I said before, she had a clue that Stephan Stearns was a predator when he told her that he dated a younger person before. I would have been so turned off if a man told me that. Rodney Bailey said, that's sad. Thank you for joining the live, Rodney. That is sad. Please like this live if you can. Yes, I'm not sure if I'm sure you heard about this story. It's everywhere. But it's really sad because Madeline Soto was not protected by her mother. And both her mother and her father should be blamed. But her father was in a whole nother state. And Jennifer was living in the same home with her daughter, and she allowed a predator in. So I just wish more things were done to prevent this tragedy. But like I was saying, I hope that it's a learning lesson for many people. I hope laws are changed in Florida, that every school in Florida should be notifying parents as soon as their child is missing. You don't wait till the end of the day. It should be as soon as the child is late, a parent is notified by text, email, phone call. Like, it's really sad. And I just hope all schools in the United States and over the world, all over the world, notifies the parent when the child is late or absent. I hear so many stories of like children being abducted at the bus stop. The bus stop seems to be like a big target for predators. I don't know. Like the school thing, like the bus stop, going to school, on the way to school, like it's such a scary time. It really is. really is. And it's crazy because, we are taught that the monsters or the abusers, the bad people are outside your home. Like stranger danger, stranger danger. But sometimes the person who is the monster lives right in your own home, and they're sometimes in your bed. So families, parents need to focus on teaching your child about dangers in their home as well as outside the home, because you're more vulnerable to abuse in the home. You know, domestic violence, you know what I'm saying? People usually abuse those who are closest to them. That's just how it works. So that's who you need to be teaching your child about, who lives around their space. Even teach your child that, hey, if mommy says anything or if daddy says anything or does anything that you don't like, you have a right to tell us that you don't like that. We have to let our children know that they have a right to say no. They have a right to not be okay with something. They have a right to have an opinion. When you give children a voice early on, they won't be afraid to speak up. But when they've been taught to be quiet or don't speak about something, that's what happens. And they just learn to be quiet and not say anything. And it takes a long time for them to open up and talk about it. So you got to get children early before it's too late. You got to get your children before the predators do. Protect your children before they become a target for a predator. Predators love caregivers or parents who are not active in their child's life. They love to prey on children like that. That's a very vulnerable population. I just feel like more needs to be done for children. And I think there needs to be more support for single parents. I really do. But parents have to sometimes also reach out for help, but it needs to be way more education for single parents and vulnerable people. Like Jennifer Soto, the way she was on so many medications, it's like she needed like a aide or something, a home health aide or something to monitor her. Like Jennifer Soto, I think she was on disability. The fact that Jennifer Soto honestly didn't have some type of medical person that came and checked on her, or some type of social worker, maybe that's what I'm saying. Jennifer Soto needed a social worker or some type of medical aid to check on her, to see how you're doing, to make sure she's making good decisions. Some people need that additional support because they're so vulnerable. And when you have a child in the home, it makes the child vulnerable to abuse. Whoever you let in your home, your child has no defense against that person. They're just a child. So you have to guard the door. You got to be the bouncer of your own house. Like, nope, you can't get in. Nope, nope, nope. I got children. You can't get in. We have to learn from our mistakes and do better. Like, and some mistakes you can't undo. If you mess around and have a predator in your home, what Jennifer Soto allowed could happen to you too. So it's like, it's okay to be single. And we're not going to blame single parents or single moms about the situation, but as a single parent, you definitely need to be vigilant. As a parent, period, because a child can be abused by their biological parent. It's not just boyfriends and stepdads and stepmoms and girlfriends and stuff like that. Anyone who is a partner to your parent, you're vulnerable to those people because they're close in the home and they have easier access to you. So back out to what I was saying, like, being single is not as bad as I think society has groomed women, or for the lack of a better term to say groomed, how society has tried to drill in our heads that you need a man, you need a partner. Why are you single? Why are you single? You need a man. Why are you single? Why are you single? You need a man. It's just like, if Jennifer Soto would embrace singlehood, this could have been avoided. We have to embrace being single. Everybody can't have this perfect relationship, this perfect partner, or this ideal. Sometimes you have to wait on something good. We can't settle when it comes to our children. You can't be like, I'm bored, or he's not that great, but I'll let him come around. You're just opening the door to predators. And especially when we should know that some sexual predators, some child abusers target single parents. They target single parents because it's a very easy situation. Oh, let me get close with the mom, and then the mom will trust me, And then the mom would allow me around her children. Bing, 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 bing. That's what they want. That is what they want. You can't give them that. Please protect your children. Let's not be Jennifer Soto. Let Jennifer Soto's failure be our success and lesson. Open up your eyes. Stop being so, stop being so trusting. Read your children's body language. Educate yourself about child predators, what they look for, what makes you vulnerable, and talk to you. Educate your children. You have to be the protector and you have to be the educator. Like I always say, being a parent is hard, and especially being a single parent, but it's no excuse to sleep on the job. Like we all have our down times when we get depressed and anxiety, whatever, but we can't completely give up on parenting. We're going to go through our moments. I get it. You got to get help. Speak to a licensed mental health therapist. Speak to a licensed mental health therapist. Okay? You guys know it's still September. So today is the last day of September. Today is September 30th, 2024, and it's 6:13 p.m. If you aren't aware, September is National Suicide Prevention Month and awareness, of course. Call 988 or text 988 if you're having any suicidal thoughts. Okay? Like I was saying, life is hard, but if you're a parent, you definitely cannot give up on life. You can't. Your children depend on you. They depend on you, and they are looking up to you. I just really wish, we can't go back in time, but I really wish Jennifer Soto would have reached out to her ex-husband for help with her daughter Madeline. Maybe he could have moved up to Florida. I knew he had a new family, but he should have prioritized her. But I wish he would have moved back to Florida or never left Florida and been close by so he could co-parent easily. Or he should have taken more custody of her. He could have been the sole parent, and then Jennifer would just give visitations. And then maybe this could have prevented Madeline not being here anymore, but she's not here, so we can't go back in time. We just have to learn from it. And I hear a lot of people, like I said, both parents are to blame for some of this. Jennifer Soto and Madeline Soto's dad, her biological dad, he has to blame too. He has to be held accountable. Not to be harsh, but it's reality. Single parents need support from the other parent. Even if you don't like each other, you really are supposed to be putting the child first. But unfortunately, some people have mental health issues, personality disorders that they fail to get help for, and prevents them from co-parenting effectively. So it's unfortunate. Ideally, parents should get along, talk things out, prioritize the child, and only focus on the child. But some people are very immature, and so the communication is very bad, and so it's very unhealthy for the child. And I'm always going to recommend, and I wish I started earlier, but every child that's in two different homes who, their parents co-parent, should be in counseling. Every child. It's not healthy. It's healthy to get therapy. What I'm saying is, it can have negative effects. There are some pros in living with two homes. I guess you could have 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases, and different people to be around, whatever. But sometimes just the hectic back and forth, you feel like you might forget the schedule, or where am I this week? Whose house am I this weekend? Am I going to be here for this holiday? It sucks that a child has to remember where they're supposed to be at a time. They should be in one stable home, ideally with 2 healthy parents. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work out for everybody. And it's okay that parents can't be together, but parents should be able to get along and communicate. And I really wish that Jennifer Soto would have communicated with Madeline's father about her mental health and just needing help, maybe something, maybe this could have been prevented. But again, unfortunately, Madeline died, and I just hope change comes from it with laws and single parents being more protected with their children. If you're gonna date, you got to be smart. Like, let's start doing background checks. If you've never done a background check before on a man, or you never Googled a woman or Googled a man to look up what's going on with them, you definitely should be doing that. You definitely should be doing background checks if you're dating, especially if you have children. Do background checks, but you also can't just rely on the background check. Things could be expunged, or they may have done a crime that was never, you know, found out. Some people do crimes all the time, but they don't get caught. So just because they're not in the just because they are not in the system doesn't mean they haven't done a crime. So background check, as well as like maybe speaking to people they know or people that know them. Check their references. It's that serious out here. We cannot just let anybody around our children. I know people get tired of being lonely and need support and help financially, but it's not worth your child's safety because you're like feeling like you need hugs, or you need sexual relief, or more money, or companionship. Whatever the need is for you, the needs for your children should outweigh the need for yourself when you're a parent. And I know that some people like religiously believe that, if like, especially if they're married, like, oh, when I'm married and I have children, my partner, it comes above the children, or they're number one. And I don't understand that thinking, maybe because I've never been married, but your children are your children forever. You may not be married to your husband or wife forever. You're your child's mother or father for life. So when people say that they don't put their children first, they put their partner first, I don't get that. I don't understand it. Yes, our children are going to grow up and they're going to want to move out and live on their own and do their own thing, but they're still your child. And some children never move out. Some children don't mind living with their parents. And, to be smart, sometimes that's a financially smart thing to do, is to live with your parents. If it's possible, if you can get along, if you guys have a healthy relationship, it's possible. But it's just not worth putting your child's safety in jeopardy because you're lonely. You have to be smart. You have to be wise. I wonder what Jennifer Soto would do differently if she could do it over again. If she could do it all over again, what would she do differently? I wonder what her answer would be. But it's like some of her answers that make you question, like, girl, like, are you okay? Like, why weren't you talking to a professional mental health therapist? Jennifer Soto, I didn't hear her in one video say anything about talking to my therapist, talking to my counselor. All she kept saying was, my meds, I need my meds, my meds, my meds. And from what I'm hearing, she took like prescription drugs, and she also used THC. And for all we know, she was a drinker too. I don't know everything about her. But she was just so heavily medicated. She was just sleepy all the time, not paying attention, just knocked out from life, and allowed Stephan Stearns to have access to her daughter. Like, girl, while you were sleeping, your boyfriend was sexually abusing your daughter. It's like she basically used Stephan as a babysitter, and then he used Madeline as his sex toy, unfortunately. So Jennifer Soto was being selfish. She was being a selfish parent, sleeping her life away while her daughter was being abused. And Stephan Stearns was also being selfish. He was sexually abusing Madeline when she was sleeping, when she was not sleeping. I haven't seen the videos or anything like that, but it looks like they said she was asleep for a lot of the abuse. But he was using her. He was abusing a child. So we had two adults in the home who were both being selfish, and Madeline had to suffer. Jennifer Soto was too focused on getting sleep, her snooze, than she was parenting. Like, I just don't get it. How it needs to be an agency that checks up on stuff like that. Like, if a parent is on a lot of medication, I feel like the doctor, and I'm trying not to say anything crazy, but it's like stuff like this is scary. I think there needs to be like parenting classes for parents who are on a lot of medication. not to try to take the child away, or just to make sure that the child is safe. It's not like removing the child from the home. It's just like additional support. There are some vulnerable adults, and so to protect the children, something needs to be done. There needs to be some type of change, and I really hope Florida and other states come up with a better thing. And I know that a lot of people don't want the government to be in their business. Like, I get that, but when it comes to children, like, what do you suggest then? How can we protect children? What's your idea? What is your idea? How do we protect a vulnerable population without being in parents' business? I need to know, because there's some adults who are mentally unstable. They cannot parent properly. So you cannot rely on uneducated or mentally imbalanced people to come and say, hey, I need help, or hey, take these children from me. Nope, they're going to keep abusing the child or keep neglecting the child until it's too late. There needs to be more for people who are at risk. There's some families who are a huge risk factor for things, and they need more support. Not to take the child away. I know that people are big on reunification. Some parents don't deserve rights to their child at all, but there are some cases where parents just need a little support. So it just needs to be more that's done, and I hope more will be done. We can't wait until things get too late and to get the government involved. Like when you're taking the child away, or you're foster care and all that other stuff. Like, prevention needs to be focused on more. Like they always say, what, prevention is better than the cure. So let's focus on that when it comes to children. I'm drinking some water. I'm trying my best to drink a lot of water, but I have not been drinking a lot today. I don't even want to say it. Okay, I'm only on my second bottle. But yeah, it's just been a day. It's just been one of those days for me. But how is everyone doing this evening? It's 6:24 p.m. Eastern Central Time. I'm in the USA. And I'm here to stay. I was just trying to rhyme. But it's about, let me see, what's the temperature? It's 60 something degrees. I'm just trying to figure out what's the exact number. Why can't I find the weather? Is the weather not on here? Okay, here it is. So the weather is 70 degrees, but to me it feels more like 60 degrees almost. I have on a light jacket, but it's still, I wish I could wear hoodies every day. I should have had a hoodie on right now. No, I don't wish I could wear hoodies every day, but what I'm saying is right now I definitely could wear a hoodie. It is hoodie season over here. But I'm definitely ready to put on a hoodie. I'll put one on tomorrow, most likely. Yep, it's so-called 70, I can even talk. It's so-called 70 degrees, but it feels like 60. Robert Myrie says, hi, what's up? Hi, Robert. How are you? Thanks for coming into the chat. I really appreciate it. I was talking about Jennifer Soto and Madeline Soto and Stephan Stearns, but no. And then talking about just protecting children and talking about the weather and me drinking water. And it's kind of crisp out here. Like I said, it's 70 degrees, but it doesn't feel like it to me. It feels a little bit lower than 70. And it's 6:26 p.m. And good news, I ordered a tripod, so I'm waiting for the tripod to come. So I might not get it until, I think, Friday, expected delivery. I really hope it comes before that. Sometimes Amazon surprises you when it comes early. You're like, you come home and you're like, for me? Or you open the door like, Amazon, you shouldn't have. Like, you didn't order it, right? No, but I really hope they surprise me by bringing it a little bit earlier. But I hope everyone is doing okay. I really appreciate those of you who are in the chat. Those of you who give this live a like, I would really appreciate it. So I do plan on posting a video tomorrow. I'm gonna post this on I'm gonna also let you guys know on my community tab that I will be posting a video tomorrow to kick off Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you didn't know, October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So they use the color purple to honor domestic violence survivors and just for awareness. I don't really have any purple clothes. Purple is not one of my favorite colors to wear. Like, I like the color purple, but I don't really wear it, I'm more of a blue person, green, neutral kind of colors like that. And I like black too, obviously, because I have black, a decent amount of black clothes. But yeah, I think teal is such a pretty color. Teal is a beautiful color. But whatever is like slightly lighter than teal, I think I like that one too, but I forgot the name of it. But teal is basically bluish greenish, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful color. I love it. I love it. But if you are watching the replay, I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to see if I can make this video or this live an hour today. I usually don't stay that long. But let me see if anybody else joins the chats. Anybody has a thought or opinion or question or just want to say hello. My channel is Why Are Humans Like This? I like to ask questions to understand people more, not to excuse their behaviors, but just to understand more. And I do focus on abuse survivors. As a survivor of abuse, I just feel like it's like a calling, I guess, to talk about it. After being silent so many years, when you finally get to talk and have a voice, you don't want to stop talking, But yeah, I like to share videos about survivor stories. So I'm all about survival and perseverance. And I usually post videos, news stories, and I just give my opinion on the situation. I try to provide resources. I always post in my video descriptions links or just websites to things like domestic violence shelters and the hotline, coming up with a safety plan, and also the National Center for Exploited Children. I forgot the title. Let me look it up. Make sure I'm saying it right. National Child Exploitation. I think it's called, let me see. Well, the FBI. No, I'm not talking about the FBI. Give me a second, y'all. National. Okay, it's called, oh my gosh, it took me so long to find it. But I like to post information about like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. NCMEC is the nation's largest and most influential child protection organization. We lead the fight to protect children, creating vital resources for them and the people who keep them safe. Every child deserves a safe childhood. is your child missing? You know, just different things, donating, attorney stuff. So, okay, so check out their website for more information about missing children and exploited children. I have to start keeping up with them, but I always am aware of their organization, and I try to like share it with other people. And yeah, sometimes I go live on this channel. I talk about maybe a video I posted or just a topic. And sometimes I do get a little bit random, but I try to keep it mostly about survivors and just being strong and perseverance and stuff like that. I get a little bit personal sometimes, but not too much. But yeah. I'm just here to support survivors and just have a community, you know. There are plenty of like Facebook groups for survivor support, but I wanted to start a channel and do things my way, you know, and try to share it from my point of view. But yeah, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I think you would enjoy it here if you're into survivor stories, or you are a survivor, or you're an advocate or something like that. I think you will enjoy this channel. I'm probably going to come off in about 3 minutes. Or, yeah. That's the plan, to come off in about 3 minutes. I do have some things to do, you know, mom duty always, and just my own things. So, you know, we only get so much time in the day to do things. So you got to get it done. You have to get it done. But yeah, the plan is to post a video tomorrow about domestic violence to kick off October being National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Keep the awareness out there to help prevent more victims. And, you know, I was thinking about how when people say domestic violence, it includes everyone in the home, right? But I feel like people have come to believe that domestic violence is really just violence between partners, like, you know, adult partners. It's not children. But if a parent, you know, in the home is beating or sexually abusing, or no, okay, strictly violence. So if a parent is beating or hitting their child, that is domestic violence. Domestic is in the home. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make more videos calling something domestic violence that includes children, like, family violence, basically. I just feel like that name domestic violence has taken the face of just romantic partners being abused, and they're not talking about children. I feel like domestic violence should start talking more about children suffering from domestic violence. Very vulnerable population. So I hope that makes sense to you all. Like, I don't know, but it's under the umbrella of child abuse is so vague. Sometimes I feel like sometimes we need to specify, be more specific about it. Be specific about what the abuse is, because we need to address it. We need to acknowledge that kind of abuse and not try to not sugarcoat it, but just try to make it seem not as bad. I guess I don't know, but I just feel like maybe we could do better with certain wording. But things are the way it is. More awareness is key. It's important. That's the best way to help a large amount of people make changes, is by just spreading more awareness, talking about it more, making it a regular conversation, not something that people don't want to talk about. It needs to be a comfortable conversation. It shouldn't be like, oh, we don't talk about this and we don't talk about this here. We only talk about the fake stuff. We only talk about the things that we're not ashamed of. Like, we don't talk about the things that are shameful. And we need to normalize that. Talk about the shameful things. Talk about it. Anyway, I really appreciate anybody who joined the live, whether it's for 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it was. I appreciate you being in my live. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate you subscribing, you sharing, and just interacting. But I hope you all continue to have a good evening, have a good night, or even good morning. I'm sure some of you are in a place that it is morning time, but for me, it's only 6:40 p.m. Eastern Central Time, USA. I was just feeling like I sound repetitive, and I'm not trying to sound repetitive. But yeah, I do repeat myself sometimes. I think I'm really thinking about, like, I think I have done that. Maybe I'm doing that to make sure that I'm heard. When you were abused, you feel like for me, I went through years of feeling unheard. So sometimes I might be extra when I talk, like saying something twice or being louder than I need to be about something, Because when you finally feel like you can talk and you have a voice, like, you don't want to be quiet. Shout out to the people who finally have a voice after years of abuse. Shout out to you. Keep going. You've made it this far. Don't give up. And if you feel like you can't make it and you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, please call or text 988. Please call or text 988 for support with any suicidal thoughts or feelings, or if you're going through a crisis or anything like that, you can call or text 988. Don't be ashamed to reach out for help. We all need help sometimes. How does the song go? We all need somebody to lean on, 'cause I might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. You know how the song goes. We all need somebody, so let's be here for each other. Let's support each other. All right, and so I'm going to end the live now. Thank you so much for joining. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.